Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door, Season 6, babies. We're here. We kind of lost their voice. We've been recording already.
We're here.
We're Wuffle,
we're straight.
right? Yeah, we're Wuffle.
And we swear, we're straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Despite, and contrary to popular belief, we're straight.
Okay. You keep telling yourself that, Derek. I have tons of pictures of brown girls. Especially certain body part of brown girls to prove me to prove my sexuality.
I have pictures of me.
So not helping yourself. Anyhow, so I hate to bring it back because we're in such a good mood, but I feel like it's best said in this episode right now when we're gonna be when it's gonna be Princess Peach and we're gonna do the Bowser bullshit and nothing really interesting is gonna be happening in the episode. So as you recall, a while back, hopefully we do this nice kinder too. A while back, we had an argument regarding HVZ and Halo Reach's infected game mode. How I was talking about, I thought it was poorly designed. Now, I feel bad, but I feel like I will note this. I've had some time to reflect on this. Derek hasn't gotten any time to reflect on this. In the sense that he didn't know I was going to bring it back up. So I'll mention that. But I started thinking about reasons, because I wanted to justify myself. Because one, I came off as kind of a dick in that episode. But I wanted to justify myself in terms of the argument.
I tuned out for a bit. I don't know what it was just said.
Really? Are you just saying that?
No, I wasn't kidding.
Oh, I was saying, I remember in that episode in Hooktail's Castle where we were talking about HVZ and Halo Reach.
Yeah.
And how I thought it was poorly designed and stuff.
Sure.
I thought it was, and we had an argument about that, and you had disagreements, which, fine, Danny. I felt like I came off as kind of a dick, but I didn't really, I feel like I didn't do my argument justice, and I took some extra time to reflect on it. And I think I figured out why, I did come to a conclusion of why I thought compared to HVZ, I thought Halo Reach was poorly designed. And what spawned it was actually the laser tag infected. But
sure.
And what I was saying was, you haven't had any time to think about this, and I was trying to just let people know for when if you don't defend your point as well, because I've definitely had some time to think about it.
Oh, I never defend my point well, but that's okay.
Yeah, but I mean, if you at least had time to think about it, you'd probably do better than not having time to think about it.
See, you'd think that, but okay, I would have.
That might only make it worse.
See, you'd think I'd make it better, and frankly, I would have time to think about it. I would come up with a much better answer, most likely, in my time. Also, or I would just be like, yeah, I was right from the beginning. I wouldn't disagree with me. However, somewhere between brain and mouth, it's going to get completely fucked.
Yeah, that's fair. But anyhow, so I was trying to think, and this isn't the main reason that I came to the conclusion of why HVZ is well designed and Halo Reach is not, because as you brought up in the previous episode, I don't know if you remember, but they're essentially the same concept of, like one life and stuff like that. You're going on this whole point, it's called Humans vs Zombies Final Mix, and this one's gonna be Humans vs Zombies X. It'll be, I'll probably do a card link, and it'll be linked to at the end of this episode too, if you want to go watch that one first. But that was basically what you were saying. I was thinking of more reasons why I didn't like HVZ region. Where I started off, and this isn't the main reason, is skill levels. The skill level. So, in general, this is kind of true.
Yeah.
It's easy to be a good. In Halo Reach, it's easier to be a good human than it is to be a good zombie, which is true in HVZ too.
Yes.
But it's more so in Halo Reach because there's not too much you have to worry about, especially if camping. You just have to watch a few corners. With HVZ, there's a lot more factors. For one thing, as humans, you still need to aim, which, even if a lot of them happen at close range, there's still that factor of aiming and that you can miss your shot. It's much easier to hit things in Halo Reach. Like, if you tried to zigzag as a zombie, you'd be more successful in dodging. If you tried to zigzag in Halo Reach, you're probably going to die as a zombie in the infected playlist when you have no shields.
It's easier in I think just because of the setup, it's
In general, as a human, you want it to be
Yeah.
easier for a human. But
Yeah.
what it was like this, like if you're a good zombie, you do good in HVZ. But in Halo Reach, to be a good zombie, you have to be like extraordinarily good. Like, and
Yeah.
this is a bit biased because like I'm really like I'm a pretty good Halo Reach player. I've gotten perfections and invincibles, humble brag, but seriously, I'm at least pretty good. And when I get to that, whenever I'm a zombie, it's always just like I'm dying, and it doesn't feel like there's much I could have done. I know there's swarming, but I'll get to that in a bit, hopefully. But I was thinking all the things you can do with HVZ, and it's like as a zombie, even if you can't even if you can't swarm, even if you can't attack them head on, there's other things you can do. You can mess with objectives. You can like hide and try to trap them. And I was thinking about, I was like, well, you can do that, and I was kind of thinking of what you would say, and you'd be like, you can do that in Halo Reach, and my immediate thought was no, but you can do it, and this is where I kind of came to the conclusion of what the main thing is of why I think Halo Reach is poorly designed versus why HVZ is not poorly designed. Well,
Okay.
it could still be designed better, but it's still pretty good. And that is you can't do like the mind tricks. You can't do the wait for the humans and try to ambush them thing in Halo Reach. And the reason for that is there's no objective in Halo Reach. You just have to survive. You're just camping. You just essentially, to do good in it, you just go camp, and it's easy peasy for you.
There's certain locations on maps. You generally the starting location I don't think there's a single infection map where the starting location was a perfect camping spot.
Yeah.
For humans, and
that's about the only time.
You have a single opportunity to camp as a zombie, and that's you get to the known camping locations first.
Yeah. And especially
that is the only chance
when you're looking
you have.
at something like sword base, there's not like and maybe like basically you're like if I told you couldn't swarm in Halo Reach, what would you do to solve the problem of them camping if there was two people camping? You're screwed at that point. Swarming is like your only game option. There are a few maps I think you could have like a different approach where for some reason you can only go one at a time. There was no other way. You would never be able to reach them. You would just have to wait until they ran out of ammo. And that's like sword base. Like sword base. Take sword base for example. Not only like is it like there's only one way in. It's a long path and you have to get through there to reach them. But then they can take the grav lift up if you get too close and escape and have a second chance essentially. Although they get pretty fucked at that point. But
sword base. That's the one with the that's like that has like the jet in it somewhere and like.
No. That's the one that's like multiple levels, and it's like there's tiny blue bridges that bring you slightly up. There's like 5 floors in Halo Reach. There's a grav lift at the bottom that brings you all the way to the top. Do you remember that? That's probably my least favorite map. There's a hallway at the bottom of the map. It's like this tiny little vent zombies have to run through, and there's a grav lift right to the left that they can take, like the humans can take to get out. Probably my worst map, but. My main point there.
Yeah, okay, I know, I remember this one.
Is that in HVZ, the humans always have to do something. There's an objective during a mission for them to do. They have to reach the point in classes, even if they try their best to like hide to decide I'm not going to classes at all this week for some reason over a game, which is ridiculous. And if they decide that to win the game, they still have to attend its extraction. And they still have to win the extraction mission. There's still something for them to do. So they can't just hide in one place and stay safe. Essentially.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know you're not entirely safe in Halo Reach, but you're in a pretty safe area the entire time. And the zombies are, like, at a huge disadvantage.
Yeah.
But with the humans having to accomplish stuff... let me just finish real quick, because I'm close.
Yeah.
They, like, a single zombie can, like, distract people. They can try to ambush people. They can all work together, hold a point. One person could hold a point and buy time. There's so many things you can do as a zombie. There's so many things that, there's so many objectives. It's just the fact that they have objectives that make it much better. And that's what I think balances HVZ. That's what changes the game mode for it. Whereas Halo Reach, it just comes as sort of unbalanced and unfun, to me at least. I'll submit and say it's subjective, but to me at least, when you and poorly designed in my opinion, when it's just like the humans get the camping area, and at times it feels like there's nothing you can do about it. All right, now you can talk.
So, it's fair to say you can't really associate, or that's a fair difference between Reach and HVZ, the week long.
Week long. Even
would,
mini games, though, they have objectives, don't they?
Sometimes, depends on what it is. Usually, one of the things they generally for mini games, usually the first thing they do is just survival, which is just there's like a couple starting zombies, a bunch of non-starting zombies. It's the same. It's a very similar progression to Halo Reach, where it's fuck, damn it, shit, got, fuck. Hey, I got one person. All right, and then like from there you can build to like now there's three now because usually you start with like 2 zombies. Yeah, because then like it gets the swarming thing. It's and then like so you get to keep it's more you get to keep up more pressure. You have to keep people on their toes. You keep them the quicker you can throw bodies at them, the quicker they have to be able to respond and react. So like it's not even just that like you have to swarm as much as you just keep constant pressure onto them to where eventually they'll. This is the worst position
for this email. I didn't know this was possible. Sorry to interrupt you. It's just I don't. This might be the worst position for an email. Okay.
So
sorry.
You get to keep constant pressure on them though until eventually they crack, and or they crack under pressure, they miss a shot or something like that, and that's how you get to them. Same thing for HVZ, for the mini games, for Halo Reach, that's how you get people is eventually either they're reloading because you're throwing enough bodies at them to where like they're not keeping even if it's just like 3 zombies.
No, he doesn't.
And even if it's 3 zombies and like if it's 3 zombies and 3 humans in an area because like humans do split up sometimes.
I hope I don't generally do the randomizer. I might have forgotten. We'll find out right now. I'll go into a fight.
If you keep if you can keep enough pressure up on people, they'll eventually make a mistake, and then that's how you get them. They missed their shot. Someone else wasn't paying attention. That's how it works for HVZ minigames, and that's how I recall Halo Reach's
shit. That's
zombies going.
Tap.
I don't. The lack of an objective certainly does make it harder for the zombies because the humans aren't forced to do anything.
Yeah.
Therefore, you don't force them to come out anywhere. They have no reason to go anywhere. I would still say though that it's like Halo Halo Reach's zombies is like HVZ mini games, or just doing like an HVZ mini game here because it's just.
First off, how big is the play field for
it's generally about we've used I would say like the size of like a
is it like a gymnasium? Isn't it like a gymnasium?
It's like I would say like half a high school gymnasium.
For one thing, like isn't that I feel like that's a
maybe
smaller
a little
playing
it's wider.
Field, though?
Actually no, I would say maybe like a full gymnasium. It's
gymnasium?
fairly it depends on the scenario because like when I took Nerfology, we did use like a pretty like fairly large large area, as well as we had like inflatable battlements to put up too. So like there was like for when we did just Nerf on Nerf, there was cover. For when we did HVZ, then there were things to put between you and a zombie.
One thing, I feel like it's a smaller mini game, but at the same time, I feel like I know the time is done, but we'll keep going longer in this episode. Essentially, what did it for Halo Reach? I don't know. It's just like I said, if for a Halo Reach, if I told you couldn't swarm, do you think you would be able to kill the 2 people if there are 2 people alive? If it's 1 person, I think you could do it even just by yourself. But if there are 2 people alive on most maps, if you can only go 1 at a time for some reason, or even 2 at a time, but you can't swarm them for whatever reason. Do you think you could reasonably kill them, assuming they were at least decent at the game?
It depends on the map.
Yeah, but not even just depending on the map. That like for a lot of maps, like.
So I think there were some maps reasonably designed for infection. I think there were some that were very unreasonable. sword base was definitely unreasonable because you had the
attack ethics. Why that way? So I won't.
Sword base, I'd say, was unreasonable because you had the grav lift with literally
sword
one.
Sword base is probably the map I hated the most.
There was one way in.
Yeah.
So there was one way in.
That is absolutely the worst case. Yeah. I don't remember any map being as bad as that, but I do. The thing I don't like is it's super easy to do choke points and hair reach, and because of, like I said, that going back to the skill thing, it's not too hard to be good at that game, especially when they have shields as a human. Like, if you were a noob, you could be good and affected, and granted, a lot of noobs did play that game, because it was just easy to do so as a human. You could survive for a long time, even if you had no idea how to play the game. Very well, at the very least. I also see that you just replied to your comment on Aaron's thing. So why don't you pay attention to stream, mister?
I was listening.
That's still a deductive. You're slightly more wrong in this argument now, just because of that.
I had it up on my phone, and I wanted I wanted to reply before it became not relevant. Also,
what did she reply? Because
my reply to what you said to Aaron's ship name for us was Aaron, please join me. I don't want to be lewd alone. And her response was, Derek, I will always be lewd with you when you ask.
Oh.
A true friend.
Derek, Aaron has come up with a new ship name for us, and I think it's better than Zinker Bread, which was the previous one.
What was it?
So it's Dinks. My spicy Dink ship has come true. Zinker Bread was what we were going for, because
Zinker Bread?
Because this is like season 1. You were known as Ginger, so Gingerbread. Oh. So Zinker Bread. David might have been the one to suggest it. Actually, it was either me or David who suggested it.
I had to reply one more time. I'm sorry.
That's okay. We were arguing anyways, and this episode's going on longer. I don't know. So I feel like we both don't have much to say past that.
I think the main problem for Reach Zombie or for Reach Infection was the choice in maps. The one that had like the wooden flooring and like had the lift and everything. I feel like while there were like corners you could camp, there was nowhere a single person could just point a gun a single direction and be fine. There was and there were also many because if you recall on that, do you know which one I'm talking about?
Which one?
The one with like it had the wooden flooring everywhere. In the center there was that lift. It wasn't a grav lift. It was just like a elevator.
It's gold.
Series.
Yeah, that's Reflection. That has essentially 3 choke points. There's kind of a sneak around where you can get near the rooftop, but that was like the only sneak around. So the ones I know, I'll go over the ones I know. For the most part, I think a lot of them had 3 or 2 choke points, which makes it really easy for the humans because you only need 2 or 3 humans to survive a long time. And you're just wearing down their ammo at that point. Caged, you could... There was this little area where there's basically only 2 entry points. And you had a lot of time to view from... If you stayed in one corner of that building, you would have a lot of view from it. There was a way you could sneak around on, like, the tiniest edge. Sorry, I'm, like, going to burp or something. I don't know. There was, like, a way you could slip around on the tiniest edge by... And that was like the only, and so that essentially created a third one once everyone learned of it, but so essentially there was like 2 choke points and like kind of a third. Reflection was really awful on the upstairs one. It was really annoying for a lot of reasons because it was easy to defend, especially with 3 people. It's just insanity. Fire drive, nice.
Reflection, if you really wanted to, you could get up. So I feel like, if I recall correctly, the place people camped was that one was pretty close to the starting location, I believe. Oh no, it wasn't the starting location.
No, it wasn't the starting. It was the starting location for some, actually.
Yeah,
I believe it could be.
It was where those lifts would go up, and you had the hallways on the sides. You basically had to have people. You could either hide in the hallways and just watch both directions. In which case you only need 2 people to watch. You need to watch 2 directions. Or people would huddle by that lift because while it was a good choke point, if like 2 or 3 zombies came from one side, then you probably weren't going to get them. Even if it was just 2. 2 could go through one, or 2 could go down one hallway and get to people. Especially when evade was a thing. That was the main. I think that was one thing that really killed was removing evade.
Yeah. But that was another thing with that reflection choke point too, is you had to wait a long time on that elevator too. So that essentially eliminated that choke point as even being useful, because it was almost always you will die. If anyone was watching it, there was no way you could get up.
When people were in that, so when people would camp in that center area, you could jump on. You could, while people would snipe off the balcony usually. You could also jump up and hit people over the balcony.
No, I know that was but that's like one of the sneaky ways to do it.
Yeah,
what I'm saying is like the actual lift part, that was essentially useless, because like there's essentially like, if anyone was looking down that lift, the lift that brings you up, like the elevator lift, like there's no way you were going to avoid it essentially. Like, if you were a zombie, you're dead, especially with no shields. And there's a lot of custom game infection maps, which are just fantastic. But, like, it's all, maybe it's also because I played this custom games too, but I always had shields for custom games, at least for the alpha zombies, because it's just like there would be one choke point that you could kind of hide through. But they were well-designed maps, and they were fun. It's just the fact that there was we'll come back to this later.
I think matchmaking could have been improved if either they had one extra starting zombie. If they didn't get rid of course, if they didn't get rid of evade, I feel like there would have been less issues, because evade was incredibly helpful. And I think if they... So an extra starting zombie would definitely make a difference, because that's more than enough to push through.
Yeah, that's help speeds it up. It was actually the max they could do that they had it though. I think, or maybe not. I might be wrong about that.
And then I think a couple of the maps should have been different. They shouldn't have been the maps they were.
Yeah, it would have been better if they had Forge specific maps for infection. What it really is to me is, even if it was just alpha zombies, shields. Like, I'm fine with the regular zombies having no shields. It's just, you need that bit of balance where, like, it's not just gonna be a simple one and done for the humans. With
a shotgun and being armed with only a shotgun and a magnum, I don't know if you have to have it so the alphas. You can give the alpha zombie shields. I think giving them shields so like they can't be pistoled to death would be good. They should still be able to get shotgun at close range.
At close range, a shotgun would one-shot you with full shields. Like with the Boltru.
It definitely would. But
like, it would. The shotgun would. And that's another thing that's kind of sucks too, because like you still had to kind of aim a little bit with the Boltru to even get to still kill one shot the shotgun with shields. But like the thing that kind of sucks is with the shotgun, because Boltru is pretty much a purposely programmed thing. It ends up being another spike shield. I needed that. It ends up being that it gives the moment before the zombie actually ends up attacking, hitting their mark, if that makes sense. It gives a moment of delay where the human gets a chance to counterattack, and the human will essentially always win with no shields. There's nothing more that can be done. It's just it's all that accumulates into something that makes it feel poorly designed. Like, to me, it's just like, even as simple as the alpha zombies, they had shields, it'd be a lot more fun. It'd feel just a lot more fair. It'd feel like a lot less I'm getting my ass handed to me by people who don't know how to play the game, because it's just easy for the humans,
I think first of all, I think we should probably drop this pretty soon, because we've been going on about this for a while.
Once we reach Twilight Town, that's the end of this. This is gonna be Humans vs Zombies X now. This is gonna make Humans vs Zombies into its own official series on.
I think
Speletons probably.
Yeah, I think that it could have been. I don't think it was poorly designed. I think it could have been improved though.
Everything can be improved. I feel like this could have been greatly improved.
For me to consider it poorly designed, I feel like while playing it that like I'm being ripped off, and I used to play a lot. I used to enjoy it. I don't think I felt like I was being ripped off. I didn't feel like this isn't fair. This is impossible. I did feel like it was impossible when there were parts of maps that people were not supposed to be able to get to, but they fixed those later by adding the kill area.
Yeah. Wait, what do we name? Oh, Round Boy. It's like, what do we name our Yoshi?
Yeah.
Yeah, Round Boy. That's funny. Yeah, I get that feeling all the time. I don't get it as a human. And that's kind of the thing to remember for those of you, I guess not for Derek, but for those of you at home that are coming up with their own rationale. Because I feel like I'm saying not for you because I feel like you just don't think this anyways. But, like, it's not just when you are the human that matters. That, you know, it's like also when you're the zombie that you have to take into account. Like,
I realize.
I know. That's why I said for you as the viewer. I was saying you're not the idiot in that scenario, Derek.
Okay. Good.
So yeah, that was a nice part on me. You know, that was nice, Zonko.
I'm not used to it.
Yeah, it's okay. I want to be a bit more respectful. There was a point. I'll go over that real quick.
I'm a queen.
There was a point where I remember being really angry because, and I'll apologize for this too because I feel like a dick for it mostly. Where I accidentally said concept. They have the same concept, and I meant to say context. I got really angry about it. It wasn't really Derek's fault. It's just you know, people have this tendency in arguments to just, you say something wrong, and then they'll either they'll do one of two things that piss me off. They'll either pretend like you'll accidentally be like, oh, you know, like you were right, like instead of if they accidentally forget to say a not something, and then they'll act like, ha, see, you knew I was right all along. I'm right. You said it. You accidentally said it.
I get annoyed by that.
Yeah, and then there's another thing that pisses me off, and it's not nearly like necessarily their fault at own, but like I'll accidentally say a misinterpreted word. It happens in arguments a lot on the internet because I fairly proofread like I should, but and it was kind of what I felt like was happening there was I said concept and I meant context, and it's like you formulate your counter argument based on my word concept. I'm like, no, wait, I didn't mean that, no, and it you know, when they formulate their different opinion based on like I accidentally said a wrong word, it pisses me off, you know.
That's fair.
Sorry for that. I feel that was where I felt like I was the most asshole. But otherwise, besides it being angry, this was a much more calmer argument. We should have most of our arguments like this.
Yeah.
Anyhow, next time on Speletons, we'll go on to chapter 4. And actually, I think this kind of lays into our next thing that we want to talk about because you have something based on this. So, next time. Bye-bye.